Hey, it's Drew again with another Carowinds review. Things are pretty scary in the world right now, so why not do a video on my personal top 5 scariest attractions at Carowinds? This will be based on what personally gets my heart racing. Ratings will be greatly affected from experiences I've previously had on these rides. The only rules are no temporary attractions, so nothing from Carowinds qualifies. Though, personally, I don't think anything from Carowinds is that scary. Remember, these are my personal scariest rides at Carowinds, and I'm sure yours will be drastically different. These are the attractions I fear every time I board. Honorable mention, Electrospin. This ride is intense. The majority of people I've been to the park with consider this ride too intense and won't ride it. It's somehow easier to convince people to ride Fury than it is Electrospin. I understand where they're coming from because this is the only ride where I feel sick after riding it once. Most rides take several times in a row to have that kind of effect on me. I don't know anyone that is excited to ride Electrospin a second time. I do enjoy the ride, but it can be a little bit too much. I'll only seek out Electrospin when there's nothing really else to ride at the park, like during Winterfest. This ride is more of a fear of feeling sick afterwards than it is a true fear of the ride itself, so I left it off the top 5. Number 5, Storm Surge, blue and green slides. I'm not a big fan of body slide rides. I find the tube rides so much more enjoyable, and as stupid as it sounds, my favorite ride at the water park is the Lazy River ride, Coastal Currents. I'm always willing to give a ride a chance, so I tried Storm Surge's body slides several times. The reason I have a fear of this ride is because the slides are almost entirely in the dark, and about halfway through, I just get this feeling of drowning. You aren't able to breathe easily because of the confined space and the water splashing up on you due to the high speed. I'm all about speed, but the water preventing you from breathing just causes me to panic. 3/4 of the way through, I'm always just begging for the ride to be over, just so I can get some air. If these two elements were somehow removed, I'm sure I would love the ride, and wouldn't get so nervous every time I'm climbing those stairs. But for some people, that might just be the appeal. Number 4, Fury 325. Fury is the only ride in the top 5 that I'm always excited about experiencing. The fear of the coaster is always at its max the first time you ride it each time you go to the park. That first drop. It gets me every time. I can never raise my hands or legs the first time I'm riding Fury. I'm always gripping as hard as I can, just ready for that drop. After that, all the fear goes away and I go back to enjoying the coaster, but none of the other rides at Carowinds give me that feeling as strongly as Fury does. Fury has also caused me to develop a fear of riding coasters in the rain. I'd always heard it was bad, but really, how bad could it be? On one of my trips to Carowinds with my wife and younger brother, we got front row seats on Fury. And about 2/3 of the way up, it started to rain. After the first drop, it felt like little needles were constantly hitting us on the rest of the ride. It's a funny memory, but I won't be riding a fast coaster again in the rain. Well, intentionally. Number 3, Windseeker. Windseeker holds a special place for me. I'm always so excited to ride it when I think I can handle it, but as soon as we start to go up, I panic. I love the view of the mountains of Charlotte and the skyline, but as soon as I look down, things go south. I have to keep my eyes straight or at least not downward. I cannot stress how beautiful the view is up there. But ever since the hand incident on the news, I just can't look at the ride the same way. I think the main thing that makes this ride scary for me is the fact that the seats don't make me feel secure. Like, it'd be easy to just slip out of. Hopefully, that's just my imagination, but I'd still recommend the ride to anyone who wants a thrill. Number 2, Blackbeard's Revenge, Pirate's Plank. Boy, you want to talk about a ride that causes people to panic. I have never seen a ride cause so many people to chicken out when it was their turn, and I completely understand. This is likely the most intense ride at the water park. I wasn't scared of this ride until I got in the tube. The wait for it to drop while you are standing there, it feels like forever. The agony of knowing soon you'll be dropped from that height in such a confined space. Oof. Once you get past that initial drop, it's a blast. But I've only been able to hype myself up twice to ride Pirate's Plank. It's so much fun though, being able to conquer that fear. Number 1, Mountain Gliders. This probably sounds like the dumbest choice. This ride just seems like such a kiddie ride, something which no one should be scared of. Well, I have a story about how Fury is nothing compared to how terrifying this ride is to me. Okay, so, if you've never ridden Mountain Gliders, it's a spinning ride where you control if you go up or down depending on how you move the fins. Well, me being stupid, decided, let's go for maximum height since it was a new ride at the time and it was my first time riding it. The ride starts off slow and I start getting into emotion and I keep getting height. I was expecting something to prevent me from continuing to go towards the middle. Well, there kind of is, but I doubt it's intentional. It's the ground. I slammed into the ground hard enough that my cart started to spin left and right. hard enough that the entire ride started to shake. The family in the cart in front of me started to panic, and my wife in the cart behind me saw the whole thing, worrying the ride was going to go down. I'm still sitting there with my life flashing before my eyes on this kiddie ride. I could not get control of the cart until the ride stopped, which luckily we only had about 15 seconds left of. Everyone just got off the ride and left as fast as they could. I don't think any of the employees saw it happen, which makes it even scarier. I don't think I'll ever look at this ride the same way, and I just cannot get myself to ride it again. That's my list of the top 5 scariest rides for me personally at Carowinds. What's your top 5? I assume it's much different than mine. I'd love to hear your list, so please post it in the comments. Hopefully no one's had a similar experience on a ride that scarred them from riding it again. I can only imagine if something like Fury were to break down in a similar fashion. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and remember to stay safe. The parks will be open soon enough, and I'll be able to get more footage and post more videos. If you have questions or requests, please feel free to post them. And until next time.